What's up, guys? LQ here with the LQ review, and happy Friday the 13th. Here on this Friday the 13th, I'm going to do a tier listing of all 12 Friday the 13th movies. As you can see here on the tiers, I've got Camp Crystal Goat, best of the best. I got Prime Slasher Energy, really good, not quite best of the best here. Guilty Pleasure Gore, I enjoy these movies, but they're not great. Crystal Lake Misfire, bad, but not the worst of the worst. And then finally, Stay in the Cabin, the worst of the worst Friday the 13th movies. All right, here we go. Let's start. And here I've got Jason X. All right, let's put Jason X up here in Guilty Pleasure Gore. I think it's the exact kind of movie that is made for this tier. Not a great Friday the 13th movie, not a great horror movie, but there's some pretty cool stuff in this movie that I definitely enjoyed. Ultimately, Uber Jason was cool, and I find it definitely being a guilty pleasure gore type movie. Next, we're going to do Freddy versus Jason. Freddy versus Jason, I'm going to put up here in Prime Slasher Energy. I'm sorry. A lot of people might not like that, but I like this movie a lot. I love the face off between the two. I love the carnage, the violence. Um, I just think it's a really fun movie. So, yeah, Prime Slasher Energy. All right, Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Everybody knows where this one's going to go. Right down here, this one should have stayed in the cabin. Jason Takes Manhattan is actually Jason on a boat. And he ends up in Manhattan for the last 20 minutes of the movie, but it actually looks like a small city in Ohio. I mean, it's just not a good movie. The kills are not good. The characters, nothing in this movie really works. So, yeah, down there, stay in the cabin. Next, we have the original Friday the 13th. This one's hard. I don't love it. It's one of the few horror franchises with it. I don't consider the first one of the best. I don't know if I want to put it in guilty pleasure gore. Yeah, that's where I'm going to put it. Guilty pleasure gore. There's fun stuff to be had in the first Friday the 13th movie, but it's not as good as some of the other movies that came later. Like Jason Lives, Friday the 13th Part 6. It goes up here in the GOAT category. It's one of the best. It's really kind of when Jason became Zombie Jason, and the soundtrack in this was great. The campiness was great. It really walked the line between campiness and horror, and it was just really it's kind of the Nightmare on Elm Street 3 of the Jason franchise. It took the steps into campiness that would ultimately hurt the franchise, but it really worked in this movie. All right. Friday the 13th 7, The New Blood. I think we're going to keep this one right here in Guilty Pleasure Gore also. It isn't the greatest of the movies. It was one of my favorites when I was a kid. I just love the idea of Jason versus Carrie, right? I feel like there's a better version of this movie out there. I've heard that there is. I've never seen it, but I'd like to see it because I heard this one just got massacred by the MPAA. But I still kind of like it. I kind of like the concept. All right, here we go. Friday the 13th, the final chapter. This is, for me, the best of the Friday the 13th movies. It goes up here in Camp Crystal Goat. It still had that old school feel of Jason, but it also it felt like the end. It felt like a transition point, and also a lot of the characters I really liked. And in so many of these movies, the characters are just cannon fodder. They are there to be dispatched. But in this one, I just liked the group of teens that we were hanging out with. And obviously, having Corey Feldman in there playing Tommy Jarvis, that was really cool also. Yeah, Friday the 13th Final Chapter is my favorite. All right, Part 2. I'm going to put it right down here in Crystal Lake Misfire. It just felt like too much of a it felt too much of a retread of the first one. Even though the first one it was Pamela and the second one it's Jason, it still felt like too much of a retread for me. All right. A few months ago, I did a ranking, by the way, and I recently, very recently, as in within the past few days, I did a rewatch of the Jason franchise. So what you might see here might be different than the ranking because I have revisited them with fresh eyes, as well as some discussions that I've had with some of you. That leads me to part three. In that ranking, I ranked part three kind of low. I talked to some of you, and in my rewatch, I did gain maybe a little bit more appreciation for Friday the 13th Part 3. It's still not my favorite, like it seems like it's a lot of years, but I think I have moved it up, and it would go here in the guilty pleasure gore area. It's very campy, and because of the fact that it was 3D, the way that it's filmed doesn't always work for me. There's some stereotypes in this movie, but overall, I really just kind of got a little more appreciation out of it this time, especially given the fact that this is the first movie where Jason dons the hockey mask. All right, here we go. Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. Man, it's another one that's hard. I think that I really liked this movie when I was younger. I don't like it as much now. Yeah, I gotta go Misfire on this one. I really want to put it up there in Guilty Pleasure Gore because there are some great gory sequences in this. There's some great world building in this. I love Creighton Duke. I love the idea that maybe this was existing in the same world as the Evil Dead. There's so much in this that I liked. I love the ending when Freddy's glove comes up, but ultimately they really went back and rewrote a lot of lore that just didn't really work. I really love the opening of this movie too. But ultimately, like I said, it's a Jason movie. Jason's barely in it. And they rewrote a lot of lore that just doesn't work for the franchise, even though if it wasn't a Jason movie, I would have probably really liked it a lot more. But because it is a Jason movie, I just don't think it works quite as well. All right, Friday the 13th 5, The New Beginning. This one goes into the misfire section. I don't think it's as bad as part 8, but it's definitely not a guilty pleasure movie. I understand that part 5 does have some cult status now, and it has its fans. It just doesn't work for me. The whole idea of the ambulance driver being Jason, I don't know, it just didn't work for me. It just felt very contrived, very silly. And Tommy Jarvis being in there, just if Tommy Jarvis is there, it should have been Jason. But I don't know. Part 5 didn't work for me. But now we get to um, the real controversial one, guys. I love the remake. It's up here in Crystal Lake Goat, Camp Crystal Goat. I love the remake. I don't think it's as good as Final Chapter. I think it's right around Jason Lives as far as how I feel about it. I don't know how so many people don't like it. I think that the carnage is great. It's got funny moments. Jason is brutal, and just even the characters are fun. Even the characters that you're not supposed to like. Guess what? You're supposed to not like them. I don't know why this movie gets the hate because I love the remake. All right. So there you go. Under Camp Crystal Goat, we've got Jason Lives, we've got the final chapter, and we've got the remake. Under Prime Slasher Energy, we got Freddy vs. Jason. Under Guilty Pleasure Gore, we got Jason X, the original. We've got New Blood, and we got Part 3. Under Misfire, we've got Part 2. We got Jason Goes to Hell, and we've got The New Beginning. And under Stay in the Cabin, we've got Jason Takes Manhattan, or Jason Takes a Boat. That's my take on it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. While you're down there commenting, make sure that you subscribe to my channel, and happy Friday the 13th.